Hi everyone, this is Lauren coming at you from the Break Zone with a deck tech video. This one going over the Van Storm deck that was piloted by Aleix Conejero to be one of the finalists at the Barcelona regionals. So this deck is pretty fun. It's a Wind Lightning concoction where two of the very well hyped cards from Opus 5 came together, and those two are Adele and Elua. But there's plenty of other things to go into it. I mean, with the name Van Storm, there's definitely some Van coming in there with a little bit of a stormy weather since it is a Wind Lightning package. So let's go over some of the cards. Starting off with Haste, he's been a staple since Opus 1. Kind of comes in on and off, but for that aggro package and being able to dole down a forward, he's always been pretty useful. Next up is Ramza. So it's not the Opus 5 Ramza, but this one is mostly used because you really want to be able to give your forwards haste, especially Zemus and Van. But I mean, there's also any other one of your forwards having haste is never a bad thing. And if you want to do some kind of combat tricks and you're willing to, let's say, have one of your forwards kind of go in, attack, and break, and you're going to have multiple attackers that turn, go ahead and with the first attack, before the first attacker hits the break zone, use Ram's action ability to give plus 1000 power to your next attacker. And when the first attacker goes to the break zone, you'll be able to get Ramza to activate again and be able to yet again use its ability to give a total of 2000 power to a forward, to the next attacking forward, and that can probably get through. Next up, we've got Rigdia, part of that Alcid combo package. And here we go, Adele, Haste, Unblockable, part of that part of that dynamic duo that people were expecting to see a lot of in the Wind Lightning decks coming into Opus 5. And here's Elua. We've talked about her in the Mono Lightning deck that was piloted by Andy Carmona over in our other video, who made a top 8 finish at the Boston Crystal Cup. Onion Knight being part of that Alcid combo package. Ishtola, who helps you against board wipes. For goodness sake, she is so good. So not only can she just stand there and get in the way of Mono Lightning, since they won't be able to target her with the Alcid combo package, but if they start using anything such as like Exodus, Raiden, or even somebody plays like a Shantoto, she's able to stop all that, or even a Zalera. And then here we go, Alcid, part of the Alcid combo package. Amal's always been pretty useful, and with the different ways you have to give haste, such as Ramza and Red Mage, he's always been better when you give him haste. Onion Knight, part of the Onion Knight package. And Zemus. So Zemus is one of those cards where I've played against it and it is not fun to face one down. But normally what happens is you have one turn to respond before things go south real fast. So being able to play Zemus, use his ability to bring back, let's say, an Alcid, lets you play out another forward from your hand at that point. So he's very effective at giving you pretty much a 1 card or 2 CP, a hypothetical 2 CP discount every time you use his ability. But since you give him haste with Ramza and Red Mage, he's even more of a threat in this deck. And here's Van. Same thing goes with him that I just mentioned with Zemus. He is a lot more effective with haste. So during one of our box opening videos, my teammate Philip Marciano had mentioned that, well, he's got a lot of cool abilities in the toolbox. He's awesome, but he is just too slow. Guess what? Give him haste, and yeah, he's faster now. And for aggro decks, one of the things we always mention is that there's times when they go in there and they just run out of gas. With Van being able to draw you a card when he attacks, you actually might be able to supplement your strategy and just go the distance. And also his other abilities to either dole a forward or keep another one from being able to block can become very effective. especially against forwards such as Ash, if she is a problem. Targeting her and keeping her from being able to block that turn. It doesn't matter how big she gets from being targeted because she's not going to be able to block this turn. Well, that's pretty obvious, right? Next up, we've got Exodus. So if things go bad, then you could always play it. Odin's been a good card. Haven't seen this card as much lately, but it's still very effective. And Raiden. So with all that card drawing I expect to see from be able to attack with Van turn after turn, either you're going to draw into your Raiden or you're going to draw the cards that you need to be able to play that Raiden. And there's more than one time when I could tell you that a Raiden can end the game. Next up, going over the backups, Barrel Eye's been a staple, especially in this somewhat Mono Ice heavy meta. Mion, so you're able to play a couple of cards off of her if you really want to. One of the main ones was, oh man, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. K-Sith, for example. Play a K-Sith, later on Mion, get your K-Sith back, do it again. But with the card advantage I expect to see from all those Van attacks, then really you just go ahead and play down anything you really want and do it all over again. Red Mage, being able to give your forwards haste. Scholar, sometimes, like I've seen Scholar being used more and more, both Scholar and Cannoneer, but Cannoneer is not part of this deck. But Scholar is definitely one of the options that you have if you wanted to trigger any ability that required a forward to be damaged, but also being able to hypothetically, let's say, use either your, I believe, hold on, let me go back. Yes, I've heard of it being actually happening is if you're facing down an opposing Ilua and you want to take her out and you have the ability to do so, but you need to break that shield first, trigger her ability to be able to remove that protection from the first ability or summon that she's targeted with that turn, being able to use either the Red Mage or the Scholar to target her and to pop that hypothetical shield can be very good, because normally what you want to do is you don't want to use too many resources. So one of the best ways to do it would be to actually take your Red Mage and be able to choose one forward, choosing their Ilua to give it haste until the end of the turn, have that ability be negated, and now go ahead and break that Ilua. Well, we've just talked about Scholar. I kind of had to go back and forth to show you that the Red Mage trick is a valid trick. So Aerith, she's been great. She's kind of fallen off for being a little too slow, but she is very efficient and she protects your forwards from targeted effects as well as reactivates them. So as I mentioned with Barrel Eye, being able to activate your forwards in a somewhat Mono Ice heavy meta is going to be very efficient. Gramis is there to fetch your Alcids from your deck. And Penelo is actually not only just an EX burst, but she's able to search out that Van. So this deck really wants to get Van, give him haste, and start drawing cards. We've got Sage to go along with Lulu, just in case you need to pop things for 5,000 damage. There's only one copy of her, so you will not be using Thundaga. And last but not least, we've got Dragon. So just as Odin was good, Dragon is good, and Dragon can actually go there and take care of those pesky monsters that might be getting in your way. So hopefully you like this deck. It looks like a lot of fun. Anybody that's into any kind of aggro or wind, lightning, or doling things down, and if you're kind of bored of or kind of sick of seeing like ice dole things down, go ahead and use lightning to do so. I mean, you've got K-Sith and the Mon in here, and that's going to be able to do a lot of work. So hopefully you like this deck, you give it a shot. It looks like a ton of fun. I always like seeing certain cards being used. I was always looking forward to seeing more Adele and Lua, and hey, Zemus is a good card, and seeing him used here looks like it would be very effective, as well as being able to see Van being showcased. That's all good. So congratulations to Aleix for doing so well, getting to be one of the finalists at the Barcelona Regionals. And in case you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe so that you can be entered into our giveaway and have the choice of, when we hit 500 subs, to either choose this Lightning plushie or Iconic Masters Horizon Canopy, for anybody familiar with Magic. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down below, and we'll catch you next time.